I was born in Taiwan, and I moved to Canada when I was 9. Since I was little in Taiwan, I was always sort of interested in pretty things, and I love the idea of creation. And I've always been really sort of curious about how things were made. It was really in Canada where I really sort of discovered fashion for the first time. I remember learning English by flipping through Vogue magazines that my mother had lying around, and I just remember those editorials and the models, the designers were so intriguing to me, and that I never really learned from the textbook. That learning from these fashion magazines was far more interesting for me, and I really was able to apply the language. I guess my first language was a fashion language, I suppose. My first introduction to English. Fashion is such a beautiful way of rounding up where we are as a society today, at this moment. Because what we wear is very reflective of everything that we experience and what's going on in the world. And so I feel like as a designer, I'm very in tune with what's going on. My style is polished, immaculate, and sophisticated. I've always really been interested in the idea of a sophisticated power woman, and I think in so many ways my collections reflect that. I've not always used literal references from my Asian backgrounds, my Chinese backgrounds, but I felt like there's always a simplicity and cleanness in what I do that is very reflective of my Asian background. I always wanted to move to New York to be a fashion designer, but I never thought I would be a part of American history, and that is so significant for me, both for my career and my personal, and to me personally, because it's something that a designer couldn't have dreamt of. I'm really proud of that fact that I have been able to be a part of the First Lady's legacy and continue to be, because I think through fashion she's really been able to really speak volumes in what she stood for, and you know, I'm just immensely proud of that. I was approached by by Mrs. Obama's office to design for her inauguration, and I submitted one design that I thought was the first thing that came to mind. It was the white dress, and I followed through my instincts, and of course when I saw her, I didn't know that she was going to wear my design until the second she came out, and when she came out, I sort of was overwhelming emotion. It was something that was so special. You know, it was part of history in the making. And that was really significant. I mean, at the time, it's like, wow, this has never happened before. And, you know, and as an Asian American designer, I'm immensely proud of that. I am the first designer of an Asian descent to design for a First Lady. I mean, that's something that is, again, something I did never imagine would happen. Now, you know, having really matured in the last 4 years, to be able to do it again with all that I know now and approach the project in a very different way. I think the difference between the first and the second inaugural dresses certainly is different in so many ways, and reflects both of our growth. I think the first inauguration dress was much more fanciful. It was much it was much more fairy tale-like, and in so many ways that was where we were at the time. It was very, you know, it was very optimistic. And I think 4 years later, we've both become more mature and more confident. And I think red really stood for that kind of confidence, and it just felt right. And, you know, as a designer, I think we always have to trust our instincts. And I think instinctually, I thought red was the perfect color. I always say that fashion is sort of a social commentary always, of some sort, and I love the idea of its ever-changing nature.